Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and or PLEs. And if you want a hot take on bacon, bacon is love. That's right, bacon is love. That boyfriend, that girlfriend, that husband, that wife that said they would die for you, well, bacon did die for you. Bacon is pure love. All right, so let's get started with, I don't know, who do I start with? The total disrespect and lack of faith that they have in LA Knight, or the total fumble of Bron Breakker, who had the most amazing extra heel turn last week when he speared Seth Rollins. And he came in on fire tonight, and then just throughout the night, just like, wow. I guess we're not going with Bron Breakker. Let's start with Shazam, and then we'll get to LA Knight. We got Shazam saying the fact that Braun injured the world champion, had the physical title in his hand in storyline, and still couldn't leverage that for a title shot makes him look incredibly weak. Not only that, but he has Paul Heyman, who can literally book main events on his side, and Paul Heyman couldn't even get Bron Breakker into a championship match. I don't think WWE sees him as a main eventer yet. There was one line last night where Bron Breakker literally says, after Paul Heyman, coached him, said, yeah, I've got a lot to learn. And I'm stealing this from the YouTube channel Wrestle Talk. It was basically like Bron Breakker said out loud what Triple H is thinking. Triple H literally probably made him say that, because that, I guess Triple H thinks that Bron Breakker has a lot to learn, even though he's been on the main roster for 2 years now, and he was on NXT for 3 to 4 years before that. It's like, what does NXT even do? What's the purpose of NXT if being on NXT doesn't mean you're ready for the main roster? That aside, how do I feel about this whole situation? I talked about it last night on my One Take One Shot, but I think it's worth repeating and expounding upon. Bron Breakker, like, the beginning of the show was great. He was being a bully. He was being himself, just chaotic. You didn't know what was going to happen. But then they totally fumbled him, because it's like, I'm okay. I'm literally okay with him not getting into the main event right away against CM Punk for the World Championship match. Because if you think about it, if you're going kayfabe-wise, you would want to punish Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed and say, you guys, you caused this mess, therefore you don't get a shot at this. So I'm okay with that part of the storyline. Although I would have been totally okay if Bron Breakker just went on and won the Battle Royal also. But I would have said that made Adam Pearce look weak. So let's just go into the assumption that it's okay for him to not be in the not to be rewarded with a chance, an opportunity to face CM Punk for this title. Okay, fine. But Bron Breakker then should have crashed out completely and ruined the entire show. This episode should have been a show about Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker just destroying and decimating everyone. They did this a little bit back when Bron Breakker originally entered the main roster. Adam Pearce did not put him in the King of the Ring tournament, and Bron Breakker proceeded to beat a lot of people up and just attack people at a whim. And they should have done even more of that, because there was also a time when, I can't remember exactly offhand, but it just came to me. I remember this episode of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He, throughout the entire night, beat everybody up because he felt that he was not getting the respect that he deserved. And that's what Bron Breakker should have done. We should have had little stories throughout the night, little interviews of people saying how they were going to win the Battle Royal, and then boom, the door kicks open, the Brawns destroy. And by the time we got to the main event, there was only 12 people in the Battle Royal, because the Brawns had taken everybody out. And then whoever does win at Saturday night's main event, well, Bron Breakker has now become the first contender. He is the first challenger, and then Bron Breakker wins immediately. immediately at Survivor Series. Therefore, you could have somebody like LA Knight. LA Knight could have won Saturday night's main event and then just lost it 3 weeks later. I don't get what this deal is, why we are not making Bron Breakker into the chaotic creature that he is and pushing LA Knight up the card. This is an opportunity to get both LA Knight and Bron Breakker over in the main event. Like, it sucks that Seth freaking Rollins got injured. That sucks. But we can make something good come out of this. But instead, we chose CM Punk and Jey Uso, the very safest of the safe picks. And I just don't get that. And we'll talk LA Knight more in a second, but like, this made Bron Breakker look borderline stupid. But like, I don't know. Even when Paul was like, it took me 5 months to get Brock Lesnar against The Rock. Well, we're already like I said, like two years into the main roster for Bron Breakker and like 4 years in NXT. And if we just want to say, well, I mean, with Paul Heyman, okay, well, Bron Breakker has been with Paul Heyman since WrestleMania, so even that timeline doesn't match up. Bron Breakker should be like, I want it right now, and he should have just completely crashed out for this world title. And but thankfully, you don't have to crash out for this world title. All you got to do to win said world title is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification. What am I talking about? If you're new to the channel, I'm giving away a belt at 20,000 subscribers. I'm actually going to give away a belt at 30,000 subscribers also, at 40,000 subscribers also. I'm going to give away a belt every 10,000 subscribers all the way to 100,000. Let's freaking go. I'm trying to quit my day job, so help me out, and you can win this, not a toy replica belt in the process. All right, let's talk LA Knight now some. Jimbo Slice says, LA Knight was the only choice to win this match. Seth is injured. There's room in the main event scene for a new star. Punk versus Knight was perfect as a feud for a vacant title. Tensions were already high. Chat GPT did not cook. I agree. Like I said, LA Knight should have been the guy. He should have been the guy. Maybe Dominik Mysterio, to tell you the truth. I started like hoping for Dom, but like LA Knight was the more logical pick. He could have instantly been inserted into the main event, and oh man, and then we, piggybacking off of what I was saying about Bron Breakker, is that LA Knight, he could have won. He could have actually won at Saturday's main event. That would have been a shock. And now LA Knight has the title, right? 3 weeks later, or even a random Raw, if we have to figure out a way to get Braun and everybody into War Games matchup, we could have had Bron Breakker beat LA Knight, and those two could have hot potatoed the title all the way to WrestleMania, just like The Rock and Mankind did all those moons ago, which in turn created 2 giant main event stars. We could have done that here, but no, they went with the safe picks. Hey, I actually like CM Punk. I know a lot of people don't like CM Punk anymore, but I still do. And I still like Jey Uso. Yeet. I like them both. But I also like and see the potential of LA Knight, who's been literally on the back burner for like 3 years now, and he's not getting any younger. And Bron Breakker, like, why aren't we pushing this guy all the way to the moon? Those two is where the feud should be going. And then CM Punk and maybe Jey Uso can go over there and have a feud. It's like, yeah, Jey Uso was a very safe pick to be in the main event, but that's it. We don't need safe right now. We need some chaos. But LA Knight, yes, he was the dude to win. Why? What happened? What is going on with LA Knight? Did LA Knight accidentally drink one of Triple H's protein drinks one time? You know, he opened the fridge, just drank someone's drink, and it was Triple H's, and Triple H was like, I'm gonna make sure that guy never becomes champion. What did LA Knight do to Triple H? Daniel Kinzer says, what are we doing with LA Knight and Jimmy? Why Jay? LA and Jim are better all around. Maybe not merch, but literally everything else. LA Knight actually could probably be better in the merch department if they pushed him like they pushed Jey Uso. And I'm not saying we have to not push Jey Uso. I'm just saying let's equally push LA Knight. We got Najib say, so no LA Knight versus CM Punk? Why can't we push LA Knight? Yeah, I don't know. LA Knight, nope. From that's Triple H in the booking department, though. I don't get it. I don't get it. This was an opportunity. It fell in our laps to push new people in the main event. I'm not saying I want Bron Breakker to eventually be the guy with that title, but again, we could have had a really cool feud between LA Knight and Bron Breakker for the title. That's something we haven't seen. That would be new TV all the way to Royal Rumble at least, and oh gosh. Just so frustrating sometimes. Martin says, we just watched Punk pin Jey only a week ago, but we're having them face each other again for the title. I get LA Knight is a bigger story than a 2-week build, but why not go down the route of Dom, which would have added a new challenger to the scene, plus increase the Judgment Day tension. Jey didn't have to win because his story is clearly with Jimmy he had already eliminated. You're right. Dom would have been a really good choice too, because then if Dom had eliminated Jey, then Jimmy could even be double mad. Jimmy could be like, you betrayed me, and you didn't even win, dude. So, and then Dom could just be like this. I understand, though, that they don't want Dom headlining Saturday night's main event against Punk, but honestly, I don't know why. Look at the crowds. Everybody loves Dom right now. Everybody loves Dom to the point where Dom, he was about to do an interview today. He waited for the boos. Nobody booed him, and he didn't know what to do. We all love Dom now. If it couldn't be Bron Breakker for whatever reason, and it couldn't be LA Knight for whatever reason, what about Dom? Huh? We're giving you many, many options here. We're not just saying it has to be that guy, but no, it has to be Jey Uso for some reason, who already won the Royal Rumble earlier in the year. And I'm okay with Jey staying in the main event scene, but Jey has his own other little storyline going. Jey doesn't need a belt in his storyline with Jimmy and Roman. They're fine without it. We didn't need Jey in this Saturday night's main event matchup. And that's not coming from a Jey hater. I love Jey. I do. But there's room in the main event for new blood. Tommy Lambeau, Braun and Braun should have broke up the Battle Royal. Absolutely. Both Brauns just storm in, decimate everybody, destroy everybody, and Pierce could be super mad. I don't mind that Braun wasn't in this matchup if we were going to put the title on him like a month from now. But we needed Braun to show dominance here. Adam Pearce looked weak in the beginning, but then he made a ruling that made Braun look weak. Okay, well now Braun needed to then make Adam Pearce look weak. It's a one-upmanship on them, and if Braun had destroyed the Battle Royal, then next week we could have had a fatal four-way. The last 4 participants in the match could have then went on to fight CM Punk at Saturday night's main event, and maybe Adam Pearce makes a deal. He's like, Braun, tell you what, you leave Saturday night's main event alone, and you can be the first guy after Survivor Series to challenge. And boom, after Survivor Series Raw, Bron Breakker wins the world title. And then it's like, what's so hard about that? Like, what is so difficult about this? But let's offer a counterpoint, because on this channel, believe it or not, I do welcome other opinions. We got Bishop Marley says, I think Jey is a good choice going into the title match with Punk. I hated that Priest dropped down the card when he lost the title. So he's talking about Damian Priest last year, had the title for like 3 months, and then now he's kind of nowhere to be seen. And they are doing a good job keeping Jey to feel relevant, even though he lost the belt months ago. So there you go. And that is a valid point. We don't want to waste a Royal Rumble victory. We don't want to waste a submission hold victory at WrestleMania over Gunther. So we gotta keep Jey strong. And if Jey just loses every opportunity to be in the main event, well, then he goes down the card. I don't want Jey to fall down the card. And him winning tonight was a way for him to keep relevant at the top, kind of hovering at the top. So Bishop Marley, that is, I do not agree with your opinion in that I am not happy that Jey won. Or maybe I am happy. I'm happy for Jey, but I'm not happy that he did. I wanted, like I already said, LA Knight, Bron Breakker, and or Dominik Mysterio, but you have a valid point. You are heard, my friend. Let's do some other hot takes. We got BR Goldstein says, Nikki said she never had anyone watching her back. I guess having a twin sister by your side for most of your career isn't anyone having your back. Oh my gosh, I didn't even pick up on that. But you're absolutely right. Not only does she have a twin sister, but they have a move called twin magic when one hides under the ring, so when one is exhausted, they can just swap out. So, okay, Nikki, I did not even catch that, BR Goldstein. That's comment of the day. I'm calling it right now. That's comment of the day. Holy crap, that is funny. That is hilarious. Thank you for pointing that out. I love that. Okay, Nikki. Nikki's such a victim. even when she's a face. I never had anybody. You've had someone since the womb. Although she did regret not killing her in the womb, she said one time during a feud. One of my favorite lines of all time. Kai says, hot take, Nikki Bella turns on Stephanie. She said she has a target on her back as champion. Oh yeah, Nikki is 1000% turning on her, and actually I think she should. Nikki Bella as a face, I know, my go-to is, turn him heel. Cody Rhodes, turn him heel. Jey Uso, turn him heel. Mother Teresa, turn her heel. But, Nikki, turn her heel, yesterday. And so, whenever this little mini feud is over with Roxanne, fine. Nikki Bella would be a good heel for Stephanie to conquer. Go Buggy says, OMG, I think Dominik Mysterio should have won the Battle Royal instead of Jey, because I'm kind of tired of Jey always being in the main event stuff. I want new blood. Yes, new blood. I agree. TTJC, Dirty Dom versus Sheamus on the horizon. Also, with Dragon Lee winning tonight, I feel like he loses to Dom on the 25th. Last, the Bronze crashed the Saturday Night Main Event, forcing a triple threat at Survivor Series. I don't think Triple H is going to do it. I don't think he would do a crash out at Saturday's Main Event, because I think we're moving towards War Games, and he wants the Bronze in the cage. Dom versus Sheamus, that would be interesting, because Sheamus would be a face in this situation, and Dom, it's people don't want him to lose anymore. Dom needs to start fighting heels, legit, him fighting Rusev today, example. Yes, that's they're going to cheer that, but they don't want to cheer him do that against people like Penta, or it's going to just turn everybody against whoever Dom faces. So, that'd be interesting. Sheamus has to turn heel so we can have the lie, cheat, steal version of Dominik to face him. Donatello Leonardo says, not a hot take because the show was fairly lukewarm, but it seems to me they'll go with Jimmy costing Jey the title. I could definitely see that. It feels like the Vision breakup and the writing team changes are a sign that WWE is panicking, so putting the belt on a marquee name like Punk might be their panic button move. Yeah, I guess it's better than Brock Lesnar coming in and taking the title, but CM Punk, very safe, and I don't think safe is what we need. Jamie Rameyer says, yet again, my boy LA Knight got screwed over. LA Knight and CM Punk would have been a great match, especially with the last promos. Battles they've had would have been full circle since Punk told LA Knight he's never going to be world champion. Agreed. They're never going to let, this is from Mosey Ferry Fryer says, they're never going to let LA Knight even get close to the belt, are they? Don't they? Will they? No, they won't. They just won't. I don't know what he has on him. DC Mills says, I think AJ Styles only wanted the tag belt because it's flat. It's a flat circle, just like he thinks the earth is. I've heard rumors that AJ Styles is a flat earther, and no way. I'm going to look that up right now. Okay, so this is what AJ has said. This is a quote from him. Okay, good. I am not a flat earther. I'm just saying there's some things about it that make sense. Okay, there you go, right there. He's not a flat earther. You can make any argument make sense. I mean, people used to argue that Chad Gable was Grande Americano. There was like elements of it that make sense, but you can flat out see that he is not, that Chad Gable is not Grande Americano. So you can make any argument make sense. But just like Grande Americano is not Chad Gable, AJ Styles is not a flat earther. Go Buggy says, I think the Judgment Day should never get the tag team titles back ever again because their 104 day as champion, they only really defended one time. Yeah, I agree. Their first title reign, same thing. Second title reign, same thing. JD and Finn Balor, don't ever give them the titles again. This was their second chance, and fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They don't deserve it. Rhino Rep says, Jay was the only person I didn't want to win that. Definitely have yeet fatigue. Was hoping Finn would literally get the shot again after all these years. Honestly, yeah, I don't want Finn to ever hold the tag titles again, but I would love if he held the world championship. It would probably have been out of nowhere, but I would have popped hard. It would have been like that comeback story, but that would have been a face comeback story, unfortunately, and I guess he couldn't just do it against CM Punk. Main Event Fro says, Jimmy winning the Royal Rumble. I'm predicting it now. I just don't see that happening. I really don't. I don't think they're ever going to really give it to Jimmy. The only chance Jimmy ever gets at it is if Jay wins it and then they let Jimmy beat Jay. I think that's the only chance they've got. And boy howdy, that match is probably going to suck because they did not have good chemistry, surprisingly, at WrestleMania 40. Gabe Broken Shire says, hot take, I've been watching AJ for a long time, but I really don't like him being given the tag belt with Dragon Lee. It feels random and makes it seem like team chemistry doesn't matter when you can just throw two guys together and win. They've been doing this forever, just throwing two guys together, and sometimes that does work. Sheamus and Cesaro, that worked for them. Farouk and Bradshaw, that worked for them. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, that worked for them. All of that said, I'm with you. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, it's a head scratcher. Why are they together? I don't fully grasp it. 1-7, Jay and LA Knight had their shot and suddenly Jay got the win. I know it could have been someone else against Punk. Yeah, it would have been nice and refreshing for someone else other than Jay, but LA Knight, Bron Breakker, Dominik Mysterio. Jenny Kablalin, sorry I pronounced your name wrong. CM Punk only has so much time left. Why are we getting CM Punk versus Jay when we never at least got a recent AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Sheamus, Rusev, Penta? I mean, I wouldn't mind have seen any of those guys duke it out for the world champion. LT says Dirty Dom should have won the Battle Royal, then cheat to win Punk at Saturday's main event. We could have had a legitimate champion storyline since he was eliminated but got back in. Oh yeah, I loved that. When Dom snuck back into the match and nobody saw via Stone Cold Steve Austin way back when. It would have been hilarious if he had won. It really would have been. And who knows, maybe even next week they could have said, you know, Dom, you didn't really win. We're going to do a #1 contenders match now. And then boom, we have, actually that was a fatal 4-way. When Stone Cold Steve Austin did that, they ended up doing a fatal 4-way at the next PLE in your house to determine who was champion. They were like, the last 3 guys plus Stone Cold will be in this will be in the fatal 4-way to determine the champion because they didn't feel that Stone Cold actually deserved it. And then we could have had a fatal 4-way next week also. And then the Brawns could have broke that up. And then Dom could just complain that he never got his chance. We could have had 1 week of just thinking that Dom was your #1 contender. Like, there's so many ways to draw out these storylines and make it interesting than just drawing them out and doing rinse repeat. The Black Sheep says, honestly, I'd rather have Brock Lesnar out of all the people in the match. It has to be the only person I'm sick of. Well, just because you are sick of Jey Uso doesn't mean there's a lot of people, but this is just an opinion. So, like, you are heard. I'm glad it wasn't Brock, though. I don't want Brock. I'm kind of over Brock, but I do understand why people still like him. Matthew says, since we definitely going to get a new world champion at Saturday's main event, we are also guaranteed that Drew is losing again. Then why do the match just to bury him again? Listen. if Drew McIntyre, who is one of my favorites of all time, if Drew McIntyre is in a match for the world title, it's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to lose. I've come to accept that fact. I hate it, but I've accepted it. Jimbo Slice says, Adam Pearce was on fire tonight. It's about time he's got involved in storylines as well as given some time to shine. I would love to see a Pearce and Heyman power struggle over the next few months. Yeah, so would I. I love the GM actually being part of the story, and that's why Bron Breakker should have done something to destroy all of Adam Pearce's plans, because then Adam can come back next week and then try to one-up Bron Breakker. A good story is better than a championship. If we're going to keep Braun out of the championship, well, then him and Adam Pearce need to be going at it. But that said, get the championship on Bron Breakker. Fresh and Fly says, where is AJ Lee? Can someone put her face on a milk carton? I don't get it. Like, she won her match at WrestlePalooza and then just poof, disappeared. They have not mentioned her at all in regards to whether or not she's ever going to show up again. It's like, she better not show up at Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch 3 and just like she's been gone too long. Like, her next appearance should just be the Royal Rumble at this point, because I wish they would have just said this was a one-off. I agree. It's just weird for her to just come back and then poof, disappear after she won like that. Not even a celebratory, hey guys, thank you. I appreciate this. This allows me to retire on my terms. Have a great life. We could have got that from her. That's all we needed. Oh, but she's still signed. Then just have her come back and say, I'll be back for the Rumble. I'll be back for all these matches I've never had. We could, like, I just don't understand what we waited so long for AJ Lee for her just to literally disappear. IQT says Becky Lynch's threat to Paul Heyman was so cold, man. I'm glad they didn't just retcon that and maintained the story continuation. I am happy about that too. I'm happy that they put a bow on it, because these loose ends, I've said this time and time again, all you gotta do is throw a quick sentence out there usually, and that's all we need. Just like I was just talking about AJ Lee. All we need is a quick sentence of AJ saying, hey, I'm good. I only came back for this. Hey, maybe you'll see me for these special events that I never experienced in my career, but thank you, I love you. A quick little sentence, that's all you need. And Becky Lynch going up to Paul Heyman saying, hey, he knew you were going to betray him. He was just surprised that it didn't happen sooner, and he'll be back for you. That's all we needed. And now Becky exits the vision part of the storyline. Perfect. WTF Patch says Jimmy is so going to cost Jey the championship again. Yeah, you know, who knows? Are we going to get Jey Uso about to win 1-2, and then a hooded figure pulls the referee out, and it's Jimmy Uso, just like SummerSlam 2023? Is that what's going to happen? Oh, ChatGPT, you can do better than that. It's OTW. I'm all for Dirty Dom having the most dominant IC title reign ever, but Rusev has done near nothing since returning and really could use a run with the belt. Yeah, hopefully the feud isn't over and we get a triple threat now with Penta and Rusev and Dom. I don't mind Dom continuing with the title reign, though. It is kind of interesting to see, but he needs to have a lot more matches. Carmichael says, boy, oh boy, that tag match was the best match I've ever seen. It was a pretty good match. Dio stand proud. Get rid of the Samoans. I don't agree with that. And then we've got Usi Sensei. If WWE doesn't fumble the new Braun storyline, Seth could easily return back with a Winter Soldier-ish gimmick and attire. Think about it, Seth could wear some type of arm sleeve on his left arm and cause mayhem to the Brauns and Paul the same way Dean did Seth and the Authority. Well, I think Triple H has already implemented step one in fumbling the Braun storyline last night and making them just do nothing other than that awesome intro. So, I don't know. I don't think you're going to get your Winter Soldier. And then we have Comet of Doom. Well, that was anticlimactic. Yes, it was. I absolutely agree. It was like we reset the board to basically where everything was, couple months ago. I'm not happy with where we're at right now. I thought, again, LA Knight or Bron Breakker, they could have ascended. Right here was the time to push them to the moon and back, or even Dirty Dom. There were choices, but nope, we went with safe. And who knows? Was that ChatGPT? Was it Big Daddy TKO worried about his coffers and Christmas is right around the corner, we need to sell more Yeet shirts? Or was it just, I don't know. Was not, in my opinion, the right call. You boys, you girls, let me know what you feel was the right call in the comments below. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for your hot takes, and I'll see you for tomorrow's video. See ya, bye.